there in YouTube land. Welcome to the OK Good Review channel. And today, guys, we are taking a look at yet another plane because, guys, the video preceding this one, of course, was Harley Quinn, and I have had this one, I got this one to do over the winter, but as I'm doing this now, we're getting into warm enough temperatures that actually I didn't really need to get one to do for winter, like this one anyway. So with this one, guys, I wasn't planning on painting it in the garage and doing all that other stuff. I just wanted one I wouldn't have to paint. And this one comes with markings, and I believe camouflage is one of them. Looks like there's a little bit of interior painting to do. So the Supermarine Spitfire, one of the planes that definitely won World War II, and also one of my very, very, very favorite World War II planes. So I got this one because the other Harley Quinn down there has a Thunderbolt 1, and Captain Marvel is coming towards her with her Thunderbolt 2. So we've got a prop plane versus a jet. So I thought Harley Quinn should have another prop plane. And you can see we've got parts of the plane here. We've got parts of the plane here. And some canopy stuff. So really, guys, what I'm looking for, if you've seen the other plane builds, there's going to be obviously some paint on all this stuff, but what I want to try to find here, guys, is the actual markings, because hopefully there's camo stuff in here, because I don't have any way of painting easily camouflage. So we've got some tech tips here from Tamiya, which is cutting off part. You know, I'm not drilling any holes, but these, man, I love these Tamiya kits, but this is really awesome that they did this in. I mean, that was cool. Cool, you guys. Good job. Good job, guys. All right, and we've got, what does this say? It looks like background information. Oh, whoa. Guys, there is a whole section here on the Spitfires. So it talks a little bit about the Spitfires and some of the history here, guys, a little bit. Also gets into some of the other planes at the time and the specs, in case you guys were wondering. So, and then of course here's a configuration. This is not really anything important for us, to be honest with you, but this is really, really, really cool. Like, really cool. So, yeah, Tamiya, this is they changed this kit slightly. Oh boy, we got a whole pile of instructions here. What do we got here? We got, oh man, 28 steps, huh? So, Tamiya is, like, does by far one of my favorite kits. Get out of here. What is this? Oh. Is this the painting scheme? Maybe it is, huh? Is this, do you have stand? Okay, so that's wheels down. We're not doing wheels down, we're doing wheels up, but. Oh, see, different schemes, different painting schemes. This is so cool. Okay, let's see what we got here. We got stickers. Uh-oh. Okay, so is this a stencil? Maybe this is stencils. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do the camouflage. Let's see if it's in the instructions. We got to have a camouflage, guys. That's like the whole reason I got this kit. I mean, I guess I could do a gray again, but well, this one might wind up going gray also then. I might make this match the Thunderbolt. Alright, guys, so we'll get into that a little bit more once I actually start building it. I spent a little bit of time looking through this to see if I can get it figured out. I just don't know how well this is going to work with trying to put stencils on, put the camouflage on with a brush. I don't feel like it's going to work very well. I'm not even sure I have those colors. Oh, piddle. Alright, well. So goes, guys, so goes. We'll come up with something cool, I'm sure about that. But anyway, guys, we're going to head down to Spider Central and play around with this a little bit, and we will see you down there. Alright, guys, and here we are doing some of that good old Spitfire action. And we're gluing the two halves of the fuselage. So we're putting stuff inside those. Cockpit's going to be next. I'm doing a little bit of painting here. Have some of the black done. Most of the black done, I think, actually, except for the accents. We're going to go with German gray for the color. So we're going to have light gray, a German gray, and a black plane when this is all said and done. The reds I have not gotten to yet. I've done all the steel, so all the steel is actually done on this right now. So we're waiting for paint to dry, and then we're going to be moving on to the cabin and the fuselage. These are very, very complex directions because there's 3 different variations that you can make with this kit. So, and then of course we have to put all the accent paint on. We'll do that probably we'll do that once this black dries. So red on the propeller, red on the fins, red on the wingtips. And it should look pretty cool, I think. Trying to keep it stylistically fairly close to the original Thunderbolt that the other Harley has. But I also want this to have its own identity as well. So just kind of juxtapositioning those a little bit. So what I'm going to do, instead of going step by step like I've done with the tanks and some of the other stuff, I'm just going to come back to this at random intervals and just kind of show you guys how this is progressing. So right now, anyway, fuselage is drying, parts are drying, and we're going to be coming back and painting again. And also, we're probably going to start on the cockpit next. So, alright guys, we'll see you then. Alright guys, and so we've got to get the cabin finished still. And paint as before is pretty much done. There's just touch up and accents left. All the paint is done right now other than painting Harley's name on the side of it and so on like usual. We have obviously got to assemble all this. Right now, just this cabin is so absurdly intricate that it's just, this is honestly, I would say it's one of the more challenging kits I think I've done, just because everything is so tiny. I've had to, if you don't have tweezers, you can't do this kit. I'll just say that. There's no hope of doing that, especially when you get to the photo etch stuff. Some of this is with Pilot. I won't be using the Pilot, and then there's different variations on the plane too. Really a lot of extra parts into this. So, but as soon as we get the cabin done, we can build a fuselage and then wings, and it should start clicking hopefully pretty quickly after that. And then we'll start adding accents to it and everything. Having a little problem with some of the decals holding as well, but we'll keep an eye on that and see if that continues or not. But yeah, this is pretty nutty, this part right here. But it's a smaller plane, and I'm gonna have to find a different figure because the Harley I got for this is actually a little too big, I think. So there is a Batwoman coming out that I think I'm just gonna give this plane to. Possibly. We'll see how the Harley Quinn looks on it, but she's a giant compared to this plane. I think this plane is going to be too little if I try to have her on it. So she's just way too big of a figure. So a little bit of fits and starts, but that's kind of the way a lot of this goes. So, alright guys, so anyway, we're going to build this cabin, and we'll be back once that is done in the fuselage. The idea here is I'm going to put together the skeleton and the frame, and then I'm going to paint it at that point. So still a lot of work ahead, but so far it's okay. It's just very, very tedious. It's a very time-consuming plane. That's the other side of this. This is not one that you can be done very rapidly. So great kit, but it definitely is pushing the upper side of of skill for sure. So, alright guys, anyway, we'll be back once we get some more of this put together, and we'll see you then. Alright guys, and we are getting some of the wing section together right now, and there is several parts here that are all being put together all at once, because basically I have to get the shell put together and then paint the whole thing before I start adding wing tips and so on. So now we're really at the part of the directions where we're doing a lot of bouncing around, and of course we've got to throw out the Harley Quinn paint job and move to the Batwoman paint job as well. So definitely it's for a Batwoman figure, in fact, that isn't even available yet. So we've got a little bit of stuff here ahead of us. So but come along. Just there's so many tiny parts that we have to assemble onto this, and it's just a lot of them. And so I said before that I would not be able to do this without tweezers. Also would not be able to do it without my magnifying light. So if you're going to tip this kit, make sure you have a magnifying light, and make sure that you have tweezers. I'm using 2 sets of tweezers right now, as well as this new Tamiya nipper, and it's coming together pretty well. You can see I've got to do some putty work on that, but I have to wait till it's more assembled before I figure out exactly how much, so stay tuned for more. Alright guys, so here we are. It's all put together, and I shouldn't have put the exhaust ports on there. Those are those silver things. So we've got coming up, we've got to do putty, we've got to do a base coat after the putty dries. And I'll tell you this, in addition to having tweezers and the magnifying light, if you don't have clamps, this is going to be a challenging build for sure. Even with clamps, it's kind of a pain. So you can see our trees are getting a little bit barer here. So from here, once this glue dries on the halves of the plane, I'm going to put the first coat on it, and then I'm going to have to go back and do touch up too, but there's parts that are staggered on top of here. So the process here is we're going to wait till the glue dries, putty the whole thing, and then because it's dual stage paint, we're going to be doing the base coat. We'll come back after that, and then we're going to be adding more parts to it and then touching up. We've got a bunch of touch up. I think I'm going to say that actually probably till the end when I do all the finish painting. I'll just go back and do touch up. There's a little bit of black touching I need to do for the wheels as well. So, and like I said before, we got to do a Batwoman logo. The overall color scheme isn't going to change because fortunately red and black work for both Harley and Batwoman. We're not going to be using the white though, because there's no reason to do it without Harley in here. So basically what we're going to be doing is, might be a little bit of steel touching to do. There might be a little bit of, there definitely will be the German gray to retouch and touch, and then also the black as well. So guys, at this point, I've been working on this for, the initial unboxing was probably about 12 days ago, and I've just been not really in a rush for this because the figure, once I figured out that the Harley wasn't going to work, the time rush is just not existent anymore. So I've got to wait for the other Batwoman figure to actually come out, and since I'm filming this more or less smack dab in the middle of the COVID-19 thing, I don't know when Spin Master is going to be putting that figure out. But anyway, no rush to complete this, but by the time you guys see this, hopefully all of that stuff will be all said and done. Fingers crossed that that everybody's able to see this, but and I guess that I'm able to continue filming it as well. You know, you take precautions, but you still never know. So hopefully you guys will all come to this on the other side, and we can, you know, enjoy model building. This, by the way, is a great hobby if you're shut in. It isn't great in the fact that I can't do any aerosol right now, but it is great as far as kits like this that I can actually hand paint and still have them come out pretty well. So anyway guys, we'll see you back after the first coat of paint is on. Alright guys, so the putty is done, the main body paint is done. You can see here we got both sides of it painted up, and I got a little touch up done here on the wheels. So we basically just need to go back now and put in all the stuff that I've been delaying until this part's done. So when the paint's dry, that'll be the next step, is to start adding wingtips, tail fins, so on and so forth into the mix here. We're still going to have to do some touch up at the very end of it for the canopy and some of the parts that go on the bottom of it here, but for the most part, this is done other than just drying. So coming along here, coming along, got a little air scoop ranch there on and a few other parts, but overall the aesthetic is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I love this color. So this is going to match nicely with my other colors. It's going to be basically ascending or descending, depending on how you choose to characterize it, colors of grayscale. So that'll be pretty cool when all is said and done. But yeah, we've got much closer to the end now than the beginning. We just got to get this on there and then do the final painting of the Batwoman logo and so on there. I'm going to try to do that freehand, I think. I don't know yet if I'm putting anything on the tail fins like I was going to be doing. I think probably I'm just going to be going with, something like this. Probably right in there. Just with the Batwoman stuff on it. I may be putting some of these things on there. The circles, although, so those seem to be a blue, and I don't know if I like the blue. So, I don't know. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that just yet. But definitely we want to get it to be more of a Batwoman motif. So kick it around a little bit. And of course, stay tuned and we will see what that looks like for final looks, if nothing else. But for now, we've got the main paint on. And now it's just a matter of plugging all this stuff in, doing a little bit of touch up, doing some final assembly, and then doing the final paint. So I'm hoping that this part of the video right now, the front part of a week. So this is going to be probably ultimately a 3-week build, although obviously I wasn't working on it the entire time, so very slow and steady maybe. But either which way, the road ahead is shorter than the road behind for sure for our Batwoman Spitfire. Okay guys, so here it is now with the paint on, the tail sections on. You can see the wheels are all on, and we just have to put in some the intake underneath, some of the door flaps and stuff, and then there's a little bit of cockpit stuff to put in, the canopy, and then from there, also the propeller, of course, and then from there, it's just a bunch of finish painting. So we have to do some touch-ups for a lot of this because, as you can see, I added parts to it. I need to go back and re-render those all back in the German gray, but for the most part, this thing is pretty much in the can. You just have to, paint the logo and stuff on it. So, and I'm trying to decide if I want to paint the logo on the back of the fuselage here, which is probably where it's going to go. Maybe on the wings also. Still kind of kicking that around. You can't see the full color scheme yet, but we will see that in final looks, of course. But so getting a lot closer. I should have the majority of all that other stuff glued on tonight. I'm actually waiting for glue to dry right now. So this will probably be the last video before we do the final looks, which will have all the finished graphics and stuff on it. So definitely stay tuned, and we will see you back there for that. Okay guys, and here we are with the final results of the Batwoman Supermarine Spitfire. We got Kate Kane. So this is actually a combination of, turned out to be Batwoman plus Kate Kane. Kate Kane has, of course, a military thing to it. I couldn't quite decide which logo to do, so I did 3 different ones. Propeller turns. I added some targets here. And of course we went from black with red tips to black with red tips. The dark red got, I should have actually painted the dark red prior to the black. That's why the This dark red is a touch on the muddy side, but we got bright red on the very, very end fin. Of course, we got the red tips here, the red from the front of it. We got the silver exhaust ports. Cockpit I built with everything intact. It didn't really need to. At most, she's just going to be having her foot in there once I finally get her. But of course, so as I do this, we're right in the middle of this whole COVID thing, and I'm waiting for a Batwoman to come out from Spin Master. They're telling me it probably is not going to be until fall of 2020. So got a few months to wait. This, of course, started as a Harley Quinn and got turned to Batwoman at the last moment, but I'm pretty happy with this. Now I've got ascending grayscale tones for the planes that I've done, all from Tamiya, and I decided to actually make this a pretty broad. I got her head, her bat ears a little a little bit off there anyway, and I'm thinking I might go back and actually fix that because it's a touch off center. But so we got the outline, and of course Kate Kane and the decals right there. So of course, as before, we've got red. Ooh, I gotta touch that wheel up. We've got red, black, and steel for the landing gear, and of course on the back the same thing. Red, black, and steel. So overall, this one was a lot of clamping, a lot of putty. I am pretty pleased with how it came out overall, except for, like I said, the slight touches I might go back and fix. But overall, I think it came out. I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out overall. You know, the propeller, of course, like the other one, turns, and it's going to be hanging in the air basically like this with Kate Kane standing on it once I get the Batwoman figure from Spin Master, you know, and hopefully, I'm hoping it'll be sooner than the fall, but you know, the way this whole outbreak thing is going, who knows. I'm just, honestly, if it's this year, I'll be happy. But so yeah, there it is. This is, again, this one was a little bit dicier than some of the other kits. The decals weren't quite as nice as some of the other ones. I was hoping that there would have been. I really wanted to do this one in camo, and I think what I'm just going to have to do is, you know, break down and get a compressor, and maybe now is a good time to learn this whole airbrushing thing I keep putting off. Maybe there definitely is a lot more at home time than before, so possibly that's something that I might devote some time to. But we have some different features for the channel and so on as well that we're considering, so a lot of things in motion before we get to that. But that is kind of in the back of my head, something I want to maybe try to play around with, just depending on how everything goes. So, but anyway, that aside, here it is, the last look at the Batwoman Supermarine Spitfire Mark 1 from Tamiya. Again, you know, I would say for people that are just kind of getting into modeling and stuff, airplanes are a little bit easier to get something that looks pretty cool out of the gate than I think cars are. Cars have a lot more stuff that can kind of go wrong. Planes really don't. I mean, you're not building an engine, you're building a shell for the most part with these. So, I mean, really, you have a shell plus landing gear, and these things can get super, super detailed, which is fine, but, you know, the detail is really difficult to pick out. Like, you can maybe see that instrument cluster sticker in there, maybe. I mean, you have to really look for a lot of this stuff. So, you can get a really cool result, I think, a lot faster and easier with by going with a plane than you can with a car. Or, I mean, tanks are actually pretty good too. You can get to tanks pretty quick because they don't have, you know, engines and stuff like that to have to monkey with. But again, these are great kits. Like the Tamiyas are just, everything they do is great. Their paint is the one that I like the best to use. This one is actually all hand painted. It wasn't warm enough for me to go spray it, but I didn't have German spray and an aerosol anyway. So this one was it was all hand painted. It's Tamiya colors except for the Model Master. The Model Master is the reds, so I used Model Master Chrysler red for the engine red for all the bright reds you see there, and then the dark red is actually their tail light red. But again, I should definitely have painted this back thing before the black, because it did get a little bit muddy. So, and I think it was Testors was the steel, and there's a little bit of Testors silver on there as well. But for the most part, this is definitely more of a Tamiya thing. The only complaint I really have about this is the panels did not fit together particularly well, so I had to do a lot more clamping and putty work than I would really like. That is one of the downsides with the details of this. If you don't have a magnifying glass, if you don't have the tweezers, and actually, kind of, to be honest with you, clamps and putty, this is almost an impossible kit, I think, to do, just because it is so difficult to get. Like, if you're going to try to do something super intricate, it's really hard to do that with this kit, unless, like I said, you get all those other tools and stuff. So that is, I mean, you can still get something that's cool. You just can't get that kind of crazy detail if that's what you actually want. But anyway, there it is, guys. The final look here, I think, unless I have something else I forgot to mention. This is going to be, though, probably the final look of the Batwoman Supermarine Spitfire Mark I plane from Tamiya, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please give us the old thumbs up, guys. Hit the red subscribe button if you've not done so already, guys. I don't know if there will be comments or the blue notification bell. If there is, please feel free to use them. Whether there is or not, guys, please come follow us on our Twitter feed, where updates to the channel are made by myself. You can comment to videos there if you care to do that, and Twitter-specific content like displays. So all the displays that I have in my office for all the models that I'm keeping down there, plus all the action figures, and a lot of the Star of our channel's displays, guys, are all on our Twitter feed. So if you use Twitter, please come join us there. We'd love to have you. Anyway, here it is. One last look. Let's do a facing look. I like this plane. I love the Spitfires. Spitfires are awesome. If I do another plane, I might do a Mustang, but here it is. The last look at the Batwoman Supermarine Spitfire. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.